Welcome back to the channel, buddy, and I hope you're doing fine. Today we're gonna talk more about hunger. So I did a survey and shared it on my socials and my Discord and everywhere, asking you guys what do you want to see from the upcoming topics first. And I tried to do a balanced mix for both videos that I'm gonna do now. And the first one, well, surprisingly, lots of people wanna hear and know a little bit more about the dungeons in Hunger. So we're gonna pair today the dungeons and the AI together with the art. So that's gonna be our bag for today. Timestamps as always in the description below in case you are only interested in specific topics. And then the next video, the next info dump will be the rest. Okay, now because I see your comments, I do read them, and people are like, well, this is all nice, but there is no gameplay, Mike, so why should I care about this? And you know what? That is totally fine, but I mentioned already in the last video that this month we'll have a gameplay trailer. So I hope I don't look like a fool and they actually release it this month. There will also be a little teaser. The teaser, maybe it's even released the moment I release the video already. What I'm gonna do though is, I'm gonna link the Hunger YouTube channel in the pinned comment, so you can check that out, subscribe over there, and then you don't miss it when they release the teaser and the gameplay trailer. Okay, so totally fine and totally fair that you say without gameplay, kind of whatever, but they will have this for you very soon. And then we're gonna analyze the teaser, we're gonna analyze the trailer over here, obviously. So with that, I would say we start the video. Let's learn a little bit more about Hunger. Okay, dungeons. Before I show you what the devs shared with us, I want to give you a little bit of key info. So a dungeon run is, according to the devs, 20 to 30 minutes long. Now, the dungeons are also part of your regular expedition maps, so they are not their own instance. You do not queue into these dungeons, you queue into your regular maps, then you need to find a key from mini-bosses or just in the world, and that will open then the entry point to the dungeon. What's important is, once the dungeon is open, everybody can enter. What's very important, and it was literally, I think, the first question that I asked the devs in our call, how many entrances and exits are there? Because honestly, well, we have already a couple extraction shooters out there, and I played them all, be it Tarkov, D2 on Reserve, or like Hunt Showdown, you can get extraction camped, am I right? So I don't want to clear the whole dungeon, get all that loot, and then people wait at the exit, because there's only one exit. So that would be kind of lame. So they said, yes, there will be multiple entries and multiple exits. So yeah, sure, you could still do it, but it will be kind of a gamble, and maybe you're just sitting there for half an hour and nobody will come along. So that's good. Next thing is, the layout of the dungeon is fixed. So this is not randomized, you can actually learn it. I personally like this. And here comes the kicker, the loot is randomized. So sure, you can learn the layout or the secret, well, maybe the secret passages are not always the same, I don't actually know that. But you still have to explore the whole dungeon to not miss the juicy loot. Okay, I'm gonna share now with you guys here in the background what the devs shared for us. Little disclaimer, you will not see any screenshots from the actual dungeon. Okay, this is concept stuff. Now, you're probably, oh my god, this will release in 5 years. They already have these dungeons. I saw one yesterday. Okay, so let's get through this. And again, I told you already, because you can see one entrance, one exit, this is already not up to date. But I think it's still cool to see from where the devs get their inspiration and what the idea is behind these dungeons. So first level, coffin rooms, prayer chambers. Purple chambers then require a lockpick or an ability to get in through. So that's nice. So apparently we will have classes maybe, like rogues or thieves or whatever you want to call that. And they can open that. Otherwise you need a lockpick that you maybe can buy, maybe can find in the world. The question is, when you play a thief, can you just open all of them? Do you need to level up? Do you have like a cooldown, how often you can open a lockpick? Or a lock? Open a lockpick. Yeah, nice one, Mike. So, questions over questions, I would say. It is kind of linear. However, there are a few paths going left, right, and then going basically in a circle. I think this is important because these dungeons, once they're open, people can come in from behind and attack you. So in the front you have only AI, you cannot fall back, and you have the players from the back and you're just stuck there. So when you enter a dungeon, it might make sense to go to one of these loop areas, clear this real quick, so whenever you know that there will be people, because maybe you place traps at the entry point, you can rotate a little bit and have some space to maneuver. I think this is important. What we don't need is tough as nails dungeons and you're always the dumbass for clearing everything, and just opportunistic people or people who come a little bit later just smack you and get all the loot. That would sting. Long cave-like natural shaft, lots of broken bridges, jump checks, traps. So this is also something that I like. They consider traps. And these traps, I hope they're not always in the same location, because then it's kind of whatever. They might have a few spawn points. That would be cool. Concealed way through secret room with good loot and traps. Okay. Maybe you have to get rid of some planks. Maybe you need a special key. I don't know, maybe it's guarded. But you have then basically this alternative path down here, but also with traps. But better loot maybe. Then down here we have a spacious cave with waterfalls, vertical columns, stalagmites, a good place for fighting another party. Also first children's statues are seen with candles lit in their chest area. We're gonna talk about those in a little bit. More statues and candles leading towards Abbot Crypt. And the Abbot Crypt, I think, is the boss room. Now, the bosses have their own instance. So, if I understand this, or if I understood this correctly, you clear the dungeon and you kind of get a waypoint, right? So when you're back in the lobby then, in the hub, in the chateau, you can then start an expedition that is only for you without any PvP to the bosses. Now, it all has its pros and cons. I personally, when I heard that, this is freaking nice. Nothing is worse than doing 90% of the boss, and then suddenly a group comes in while you're low on health, they slap you, they kill the boss, and get everything. So, yeah, a little bit of tension apparently is out the window then, because, well, if it's only PvE. But they told me that these bosses are for like high-end gear, high-end players, so you should not just go in there and slap them and GG loot. So that's interesting. Let's see how this will play in the actual game. Yeah, I would say we jump into the next one. Because, well, this is just a side view now. And we have this one here. This says level 1. You don't see this because I'm covering that. But I love it that they get the inspiration from, like, real-life counterparts. And you have 2 chambers are connected with very narrow passage, giving a chance for flanking an enemy or escape hunger. So this is, again, what I said earlier. It's very important that you don't have a lot of dead ends where you can get caught, or where you need some path to rotate when you're under attack. Otherwise, this will get very frustrating. And something that you have to avoid, in my opinion, is being the guy doing the dungeon should be fun, and you should not get punished, alright? Again, those are the special loot areas. Purple closed chambers got decorated doors and require either key found in the dungeons or outside, or lockpick, or an ability check. Sweet. And then you have this here. This chamber got a hole in the floor, letting the player to get in the corridor below, works for flanking or escape. This is also neat because when you drop down, that's a point of no return, correct? So when you skip all of this and you drop down here, you can't go back quickly, right? So should you run out of supplies, healing, whatever, you still have to go through those enemies to get out. Next, let's jump to level 1.5 and 2. Main level 2 is vertical, spacious, natural cave, so we had that already. A narrow pathway leads down along the shaft wall, having some section broken, a light coming from the cross-shaped opening far above. Very freaking awesome. A prayer's altar is a kind of point of interest, serving as an exploration piece and a place where the player can get occasional loot. A key for the locked cell, a lore node, a holy water as lootable resource. So what we saw in the last video was this weird grenade that had that blue fluid in that, or blue vapor. So maybe there was a holy water grenade and it's super good against AI. Maybe there's nothing against players. Also from prayers areas, there's a concealed access to the secret level 1.5, leading through a tomb with sarcophaguses and locked cells having rare legendary loot. Legendary loot. Nice. Then, level 3. So I think this is getting very close to the end of the dungeon. I'm saying end of the dungeon because, well, bosses have their own instance. A pillar cave is a sort of an open area which could be useful in the case of encountering another party. Cave has massive stalagmites in the central part, and I think this will just look fucking fantastic. That will be really nice. Can have numerous gravestones, skeletons, piles of skulls. Also, we can see first children dolls having a burning candle in the chest area made by Abel. Dolls are leading the way across the cave towards the last tunnel to the concealed room 2 and the Abbot crypt. So yeah, just keep in mind if they realize at one point that having bosses in their own instance does not work out, they can just put it at the end of the dungeon. So that is possible. Again, that's why we have early access. We have early access to test games, to test basically gameplay loop. And if something isn't balanced, you can change it. Because this game plans to have no wipes. I hope this info is correct. It should be correct. But it's fine, I think, to wipe once you leave early access and release the game. Because otherwise, oh yeah, we played early access already for 2 years, and everybody who's starting to play the game where right do we now, have get more ranked. info about these dolls? Because that's what I actually want to show you. Yeah. The place is full of ruins and cobwebs, as well as lots of children dolls made by our bot. The dolls are interactable, so the player can blow the candle. Among the dolls, there are 3 very precious to the abbot. I find them and blow off candles. The abbot gets a debuff for speed range attacks or similar. Okay, so I don't know if this doll concept will still be in the game. I find it interesting though. Maybe you get extra loot when you find them. Maybe these dolls, when you blow out the right ones, will give you extra buffs. There's a lot that you can actually do with that. And then we have 1 or 2 more screenshots here. Yeah, let's take this one. This dungeon goes underneath all the level 1 structures and leads outside of the tower. Intersects with level 1 through secret door in the chapel and broken wall in the prisoner pit. Has random sound traps. When activated, the bell starts tolling in the courtyard. Nice. So if you F up the infiltration of the dungeon, everybody knows that you're around. And it's basically ringing a dinner bell. Might also be a nice tool to fool people. So when you ring that bell on purpose, all the bloodthirsty people will come over looking for the PvP, but you skedaddle out of there to somewhere else on the map. And yeah, all the PvP nerds are not around, and you just have like the other rats maybe looking for loot. Who knows? So you can definitely play around with this. Okay, cool. So you get the idea of a dungeon, what their idea is with the dungeon. And I love it that it's actually on the map. Definitely it's gonna be a point of interest where you will have a lot of PvP because the better loot should be there. There will also be mini bosses though on the regular map. So you don't have to do these dungeons to get decent loot. You will find that everywhere. Okay, next we have enemies. Okay, well, that's interesting. Well, that's ugly. Okay, right here we talk about the Brood. That's what they showed. I'm gonna start with the early concept phases. So all these people got infected and turned into these atrocities. It looks like they're taller than a regular human by quite a bit. So these will be elite enemies, I assume. Nice level of detail. I would say we go a little bit further to these here. Oh yeah. Now, my god. Okay, so they have lots of engravings. And it says purification. It's a pesce. I think pesce means sinner or something like that. Dude, I need to freshen up my French before I start playing this game. They look effing crazy though. I also like it that it has a loincloth, to be completely honest with you. This is a high-res screenshot, how this will look in the game. Beautiful. I hope we do not have nighttime maps, because, well, we do have nighttime maps. Yeah, this is gonna be fantastic. Can't wait to fight one of those in a dark dungeon. Then we have the Drags. The Drags are your regular low-tier enemies. So basically your unarmored scavs out of Tarkov, or the grunts from Hunt Showdown. They are mostly used probably that you make some noise, other people can find you, and to just have something to smash, which is pretty effing amazing. Okay, already a couple of variations. The next one is going to be the Shambler, and it looks like something in between the Brute and the Drags. His left arm looks a little bit modified. You can see that it's a bit thicker. But yeah, again, let's go to the screen. Oh my god, disgusting. But at least I have closes this time, so that is nice. So they come in different visual variations. Some of them wear armor, apparently. I don't know if that will have any effect or if this is just visual. We also have here more concept arts. Fits the area, so those are basically your regular dudes that got infested and turned into these atrocities. Next one is going to be the Thrasher. Cool. So I would assume that thing is fast. It looks fast when you look at the stats from that thing. Also, surprisingly, I do not see a lot of decay on that guy compared to the other ones. Well, yeah, he's missing the lower jaw, where I think somebody just cut that off. And I can imagine that his special is he applies bleed when he hits you, because there's, well, that's a lot of nails and a lot of pointy stuff pointing your direction. So this might be very unhealthy for you. A little bit more concept art. One of them is actually nailed to a cross. Freaking badass. So please have this in the game as a variation. Oh god, hell. Then we also have, and they teased that a while ago, I teased it also on my socials, is the bloater. And the bloater will be basically the boomer from Left 4 Dead. I mean, we had that already in other games. Big thing, charges you, when it gets too close or takes too much damage, it goes kaboom and body parts are flying everywhere. Beautifully disgusting, as I like to say. They look cool. Next, we have bosses. I will only show you concept art, okay? But the dungeons give you a boss key and then you can fight a boss. And there will be multiple ones. I don't know if it will work like this, so this info, take this with a grain of salt. Each of the bigger maps has its own dungeon. It also means that for each dungeon that exists, there should be one boss, which would be freaking cool. They will probably not roll out everything at the beginning. Again, I said already in the last video, but maybe this is the first one that you're watching. There is an early access phase planned 2 years, right? And very often, my dear devs, I hope you don't mind this right now, whenever I see a game, oh yeah, this will take 1 year or 2 years, it turns into 3. I don't mind this as long as the end result is good. I want a good game over a rushed game, because rushed games, your reputation is crushed and rarely you can recover from this. They look cool. You also have like a regular human for scale here, so they are not insanely big, but they're mutated like crazy. So I would assume 1, 2, and 4 is the same-ish, but the third one is completely different. The third one is... my dear lord. Look at... oh my god, at the back it looks like there is some... oh my god, it has like some poison vapor coming out of there, so maybe some gas attacks. It also has like this... oh my god, it has a lot of lag, so it's probably gonna be fast, although it's huge. Yeah, okay. That, very disgusting. So, because somebody was asking me in the comment section, there's no magic in the game, but clearly there is some supernatural stuff. Okay, so you will have stuff like holy water will work, right, which you don't really have in real life, because you also don't have zombies in real life. But you will not be able to cast fireballs, for example. Maybe a missed opportunity. I like casting fireballs in my games, but yeah, no magic. Okay, so we talked about dungeons, we showed a little bit about the AI that is planned, and I would say we go into the art chapter, and I might break that up into different parts. Let's go. Okay, so there were really a lot of screenshots when it comes to the art of the game. And I tried to break this up a little bit, so we're gonna talk first about the characters that you can play. Then I will show you some artwork and some, well, design for NPCs, vendors, and other stuff, and then some point of interest for example, the chateau that you will be able to visit. So let's start with Eva. I showed you already one, I think this specific screenshot a couple of months ago. We have now some rendered images from her too. And how it works is you can level up in this game. And by leveling up, your character also changes visually. Now, there is a crap ton of detail on them, and you can already see that she gets like a little bit of armor, not much. So I would assume that she is one of these, the rogue class maybe, compared to the other ones, because none of them look like rogue, honestly. So this would be like the bandit class or the thief class. She looks pretty nice, honestly. Lots of different appearances. I wonder how it will work with cosmetics and later on. Because sure, you have skins, for example, weapons. I saw a beautiful mace, for example. There's a lot that they can do. The number one thing when it comes to cosmetics, for me personally, is why cosmetics are just how they fund the game. It's sadly part of the industry by now. Just please fit the game. Okay, I don't want any pink unicorns jumping through my plague-infested Paris. Thank you very much. Then, next one that we have, that would be Gabriel. And with Gabriel, I think you see it very nicely how he progresses by leveling up visually. Right? So you can see that he's in rags, and then he gets a little bit of armor. At the beginning, maybe just leather armor. And the further he progresses, he gets more. He even gets metal armor. You can, oh my god, that is starting to look really, really nice. And then at the end, he gets the whole set with the helmet and everything. I mean, just look at this. Fabulous, right? And we also discussed this one last time with the mace and this weird mechanic thing that is attached to it. Is it like a gun mace? Which would be kind of cool, honestly. Okay, and that's how it looks like rendered in-game then. Yeah, dude, it's beautiful. And that's actually an appearance screenshot from the user interface from Gabriel. Okay, so as you can see, you have like weapons, backpack, then maybe some ornaments, and there will be a little bit of customization, I hope. Then one character that is still a big mystery to me is Gerard, because this is all I found. So I like him though. He looks like the, well, they all look angry, but he looks like the true angry one. Nice. Like a heavy sniper class, maybe? Like, for Gabriel, I would say frontliner, like a mix of brawling and short-range shooting with pistols and stuff like that. By the way, everybody has access to all weapons, okay? Just because you play Gabriel does not mean, oh, crap, I cannot play a sniper scope or something like that. That is not the case. That's not the point that I tried to bring across. Then we have Hugo. Hugo is like the main art or the main representative of hunger because you see him on the, well, the cover of everything. That's how he looks like rendered in-game. He's probably the crazy fella from that pool of characters that you can play. Looks gorgeous though. Like, look at this armored arm. Yeah, nice choice of words there, Mike. Looks fabulous. Also, is this a teaser for something? Can you get traits, like skills, where you can swing a halberd one-handed? And then still have a mace? Now, I don't want to get too crazy, okay, but dual-wielding two-handed weapons would be almost too much for me. So I think this is just art, okay, and to pique our interest, and it did its job, right? It piqued my interest because, like, halberd, one-handed, boy oh boy. Yeah, I think this one right here is more reasonable, so dual-wielding I could absolutely see to be something in the game. And those are just the promo banner screenshots, the high-res ones. Nice. Then we have Marie, and she's probably the one that has a crazy transformation from her base level to max level. So she basically comes in these rags at the beginning. By the way, nobody helped me here, so I'm just guessing from the screenshots what is the correct order. So I'm definitely messing up probably one or two tiers here, but you get the idea. Because right here she has like the, well, clean clothes, and then they start ripping apart. But the higher you get, she transforms into like a priestess. My god, you can see how I mean, it's not. you know, horrible, but it looks crazy how they did the burnt flesh on her skin. Nice. Atoning for your sins, I assume, whatever you did. And then you have this concept art that is probably end level. Crazy, by the way. And that is also already rendered in-game. I wonder how this will work. If it matters which character you pick for melee, because she looks rather small, right? Will this have an effect? Also, when it comes to hitboxes, I can see, for example, Eva and Gabriel, that they have the same hitbox, but it gets interesting when you have actually smaller characters, because obviously they have a different hitbox. So will this be an advantage in PvP? Because I know you sweatlords out there than taking just the smallest character and then bunny hopping like crazy around, which would be obnoxious as fuck if I'm honest with you. So there needs to be also some drawback when you have a smaller hitbox, I assume. Or at least, I hope. But that's all written in the stars, and you can see that even that has like different levels. My god, looks fantastic. Then we have Abel. Abel is your regular senior veteran, I would say. And they did also a really good job with him. I think I had some of these screenshots already last time, so I will go fast forward through them. But you can also see a little bit of progression there. He has more leather parts, he gets more gloves and stuff like that. But he also gets then armored boots, right? And when you go even higher, then he gets armor plates, armor parts for his shoulder. He has leather armor for the chest. So yes, I saw a few comments that, oh my god, there's gonna be armor in the game. Yes, there's gonna be armor in the game. However, it's not gonna be crazy like in Call of Duty, where you have like 10 plates in your backpack and your plate is destroyed and you swap it quickly. So that's not how it will work. As far as I know, repairing will take a while, or maybe you cannot do it during an expedition. You will get maybe tools, and with the tools you can repair, and the repairing will take a long time. I think this is fair. It should be something that is not too strong for PvP. PvP should be a little bit more faster paced, because otherwise armor will be broken if you can just run away while somebody's shooting at you and you're like stitching yourself up while running. Maybe you cannot move while you use this. Some games do not need armor, but I'm not saying that armor per se is bad. Of course, the moment somebody runs around, for example, Escape from Tarkov, with like level 6 armor and you run around with trash ammo, you're gonna have a bad time. So I think as long as the gap is not as ridiculous as in Tarkov, this might even be a nice system. So sure, something that we have to be careful with, but otherwise I think this will be nice and a nice change. So this is all that I have to show to you guys from the characters. I hope next time when we talk about characters I can show you actual in-game stuff, but I don't want to promise you anything too much. Let's jump into the regular art. So we have the wallpapers right here. I use them already as my background stuff, so that is pretty nice. Then we have for the regular NPCs in the chateau. So I'm just gonna let this roll in the background right now because there is just so freaking much. Sure, there's a lot of concept art, right? But we also have some rendered pictures that I will go through. So these NPCs, they're already, or I think most of them are in the chateau waiting for you. These right here are your guards, if I remember this correctly. So they are, weirdly enough though, bigger than regular humans. So I wonder what's the story behind that. And some other concept art. This is an NPC. I think he's called the Bear. And maybe he's a quest giver, right? So you can already see here, and they are labeled as quest and vendors. So I can see a barmaiden maybe on the left. Then in the middle I can see the medic. Yeah, so there's probably a weaponsmith there, the third from the right, then the second from the left is probably the guy who gives you like gimmicks like lockpicks and other stuff. So there you go. I don't know what's up with the kit, but why the hell not? Then more, yeah, we just go quickly through this. Here we have a gunsmith, so he will probably sell you guns, maybe repair your equipment, has access to some ammo that you will need. I actually don't know how it works with the ammo. If there will be custom ammo, if there will ever be custom ammo, or if it's just regular ammo. Maybe it will start with like Hunt Showdown, and even Tarkov, it started with way less ammo than what both games have today. There's also something that I would like to mention right now when the game actually hits early access. Manage your expectations. Sure, get hyped. I'm hyped too, but at the end of the day, they are an extraction game with RPG elements, which is fresh and new. Hunt Showdown is out for 7+ years, plus all the development years before that. Tarkov is out for even longer. Alright, so when you compare the 2 games, or 3 games, keep that in mind. Okay, next we have more art, and I would like to show you though, where do we have this? Yeah, right over here. I think this is kind of neat. Well, neat, depends. So, this is something that I missed somehow, probably due to my pure and innocent soul. They go a little bit crazy with the design on some of these things. Yeah, I didn't see that last time at all. But you did. A lot of you did. Says a lot about you, by the way. But I'm not gonna judge. Only silently. Okay, I think I showed you enough from the regular NPCs, and I don't want to stretch this out too much. One more thing will be these points of interest though. So the vendors, at least its own little areas in the chateau. The chateau is something that you can... It's a hub, for example, in Darktide, where you run around and you see other players. Maybe a saloon like in Hunt Showdown would be cool one day, but I think that ship has sailed. So I think it's called the Metallurgus, so I just call this blacksmith. So everything that has to do with armor, you go over there. There will also be an outfitter, so I guess that's the guy who sells you cloth armor, maybe bags or leather armor. And then you have a physician. Yeah, he's basically for alchemy, maybe for healing as well. You have the physician for healing. There is just a lot. Okay, now, that's it for today's video. As always, thank you very much if you like this. And there's actually quite some interest in these videos right now, which I greatly appreciate. Please give the video a like. Consider subscribing. As you can see, Hunger finally gets some traction, and I will cover this. I hope it will be good. Didn't play the game myself, and as long as I didn't do that, my final verdict will always be a little bit in reserve, right? But I can't help myself to get hyped. This is really down my alley. Let's see how it works with the RPG elements. And as always, pinned comment, check out my link tree, and also check out the official Hunger channel on YouTube. Because maybe the trailer dropped already, the teaser, the trailer not yet, and you don't want to miss that. And with that, let's roll the outro. Well, so we got the 2 most anticipated topics, and, well, the least anticipated topics. The next one will have the other stuff, and then we're done with the, well, triple episode info dump about Hunger news. And then I hope that I can get a playtest session or something and just check out the game. If the devs let me record that. Always a big if. You have to be careful. I know the approach from some people is, hey, our development is super transparent. For example, Beautiful Light, which I also appreciate. Some stuff happens a little bit more behind closed doors until their product is, hey guys, look at this and this is good. Both has its pros and cons. So I hope you can see the gameplay trailer soon, because yeah, that will be super important. Almost as important as my patrons. Guys, thank you very much for supporting me over on Patreon. As always, you guys are the best, and I wish you all a happy day. Thank you for watching. The next Hunger video will be next week with the last topics. Maybe there will be one in between for analyzing the teasers and the trailers and everything like that, because I don't know when they will release. I see you in the next one. Until then, have a good day, and bye-bye.